Okay, let's try this again. My mic wasn't recording last time I did this, so it's amazing. Anyways, this week's video is going to be about us going to California. This wasn't supposed to be a vlog, these are just clips that we shot while we were there, and there's actually enough of them to turn this into a vlog, so that's what this week's gonna be.
It's golden hour.
Did you say golden showers?
You know my uncle had a golden shower when he was in prison?
Okay, so to start this out, this was actually my first plane ride, and it was 6 hours long, not including our layover flight that was in Chicago, and it actually wasn't that bad at all. I turned on some music, I listened to an audiobook, and I took a nap, and we were there. So it wasn't bad for me. The worst part was that I had to sleep on my book bag, and I actually let Blake sleep on it about halfway through because his neck looked like it was gonna snap. Now when we got to LA, we actually took a shuttle over to get our rental car, which we rented a car through the Hopper app, and they got us one through Thrifty. It was a Jeep, I don't know what kind of Jeep, but it was a cool looking Jeep. It was originally $700 for us to rent it for 5 days, which was not horrible. And then we got there, Blake and I waited in line for an hour and a half just to find out that they were charging us an additional $500 because of the fact that we were 20. So the young driver's fee. Nothing we could do about that. We kind of needed the vehicle to get around, and we weren't about to go last minute shopping around to try to find a different one, so we just got it. And then we were all hungry, so we went out and got food. They went out and got In-N-Out, but me being pescatarian, I couldn't get In-N-Out, so we were driving around looking for somewhere for me to eat. And I found this restaurant that looked promising, and we drove over to it, and it was literally a hole in the wall. And there was a crackhead sitting beside it. So we didn't stop, we kept driving, and it turns out that we were actually in Compton at that time. So I found a restaurant called Veggie Grill, and that has been one of the best restaurants that I've ever had to this day. So much indeed that 4 out of the 5 days we were there, I had Veggie Grill. Now, after we ate, we went to our Airbnb. It was about an hour and a half away from the airport. Our Airbnb hosts were very nice. They left us a cute little pamphlet of the area, some history of the town, of the house, and they left us some avocados from their avocado tree. The house was nice. We hung out in the backyard. I'm cutting that. The backyard was the chill spot. That's where we hung out at night. So the next 2 days, we got up early to take Evan, Blake, and Annabelle down to the Formula Drift event that they were there for. Kirsten and I were just there as tag-alongs. We were just going to see the area. So Blake drove us down to Long Beach, we dropped them off there, and then Kirsten and I used the day to go to explore Hollywood, Santa Monica, Malibu, and then we went up to this restaurant called Neptune's Net. I'm going to insert clips of Blake's day and my day here so you guys can see what that was like.
that strive to enter through the narrow gate. It's not about the Pope. It's not about the Catholic priest. It's all about Jesus Christ.
Alright, we had some remaining days after that. We had maybe 2.5, 3 days. The next day we all got up and we drove down to Long Beach so Evan and Annabelle could look at the Navy battleship that was down there. That was Evan's thing that he wanted to do. He's in the Navy now, so I get why he would want to do something like that. But Blake Kirsten and I used that as an opportunity to go out and get some breakfast at a local restaurant. And then after they were done, we went over and picked them up. And then we used the day to go drive up through LA because we did not stop in LA. There was nothing for us there other than tents and homeless people. So we drove on to Hollywood, and everyone else got to see the Hollywood sign. We drove through Beverly Hills. We went to the Santa Monica Pier again so everyone else could eat there, could see there. And then we went and ate at a restaurant there too. It was really good, really fun experience. I actually have a couple clips from that day too that I'll probably insert here as well.
Where are we at, Brendan? Santa Monica Beach coming up out of here. What?
Be off the bridge, bro.
Be off the bridge.
Be off the bridge, alright.
No, we can play volleyball right now. You know that? You know that we
We can go to
volleyball?
Muscle Beach.
Wait, where's it at?
Straight ahead.
We made it. We made it. Sniper.
The Hollywood sign. And then the following day, we did some more exploring in the area. We went up north again, more towards Santa Monica, and then we ended up making our way up to Calabasas. And we spent the majority of our day in Calabasas actually, and that was probably the best time that we had on the trip so far.
All right.
That's right.
My goodness, look at the views we have. Kirsten, how do you say this again? Los what? Los Agave. We are about to enter the restaurant. All right. Evan, what are you doing? What you just saw? He's spitting his boba out, dude. You. Why do you keep doing that? You're wasting.
He spits, he goes.
What, Annabelle? How do you do it? Dude, put it in your straw and be like, here, let me get.
Give me a boba. I'll show you.
Here, let me spit on your car, boy. Spit from the straw. Put it in the straw and spit out of it.
Shoot it. Send it.
You won't go.
Wait, go from the. No.
Yes.
Now blow it.
Ew. Ew.
And it was actually so much fun that the next day was our last day, supposed to be our last day. And we got up really early just so we could drive up there and have another day in Calabasas. So we were there until about 1 o'clock, and we drove back to Santa Monica Pier because Blake and I wanted to go to Muscle Beach. So we actually got to the Santa Monica Pier, parked, paid $15 to do it, and then we all went out barefoot, other than Evan who had slides on, because we were like, it's a beach, we'll just walk to Muscle Beach, we don't need shoes or anything. And then we set out, and after about 15 minutes of walking, we were like, well, where's the beach? There's just signs pointing to it, but no Muscle Beach. And then we looked it up, and it turns out that Muscle Beach is in Venice Beach, which is 3 miles away from the Santa Monica Pier. And it was a very hot day, and the sand and the sidewalk were both scorching hot on our feet. And we couldn't turn back at that point, it was too late, so we just continued walking. We finished walking Muscle Beach. Blake and I did go in, we got a workout in, and then on the way back we did as the girls were recommending the first time and walked along the water, which we should have done. Yes, the water was a lot cooler, it didn't hurt our feet as bad, but it was too late. Our feet were already blistered. I forgot to mention, we left the Muscle Beach, me and Blake were done with the gym there at like 4:50, and we had to have the car back at 6. And we had to walk 3 miles back to the car and then go through 30 minutes of traffic to get to drop off the car. And our flight was at like 8:39. So we were walking along the water, and once we got closer to the beach, I actually ended up carrying Kirsten because her blisters were very bad. And once we got to the car, I checked my phone and found out that our flight had actually been canceled. Regardless of our flight being canceled, we still had to hurry because we were already worried that we were going to get charged for having the car a little later than we thought we were supposed to. But we drove through there, we didn't say anything, we dropped the car off, there was no problem at all. And then we got to the airport with the shuttle, and we stood in line for 3 hours and just waiting to get information on what our flight process was going to be like. Now, we were worried while we were in the line because there were people ahead of us that were also going back to Ohio on the same flight as us, and they were not going to get a returning flight home for 3 to 5 days. And that was kind of troublesome to us because we all had to work, we have bills to pay. So we needed to get home as soon as we could. But when we got up there, it turns out that they were able to get us a returning flight home the next day at around 9-10 o'clock as well. And that flight was $600, and I am so glad that we didn't have to pay for it, and they paid for it for us. But we still had the issue of being there overnight. Turns out they also paid for 3 hotel rooms for us all to stay in that night, so we pretty much had an additional night there for free. Mind you, we did have to call off of work, so we lost out on whatever money that would have been, but that's alright, I guess. And then next day, we just waited outside of the hotel until our flight was there, and then we left. Honestly, my review on California is I would go back again. I probably wouldn't go back to LA right now unless I had an actual reason to other than just sightseeing. If I was going to go to sightsee or didn't really have anything in particular in mind, I would definitely go to like San Francisco or Calabasas area again. That was one of the nicest places there. But there are many things to explore in California, and I would definitely be down to do it again. Alright, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.